Welcome to Prompt and Circumstance, where four seasoned business leaders pull up to the roundtable and riff on the wild world of AI. It's human-friendly banter about code, culture, and CEO reality checks. Served up by Mike Richardson, Ryan Niemann, Mark Redgrave, and Tom Adams. No jargon, no hype, just real talk from four guys who've seen it all and aren't afraid to say what everyone's thinking. Pull up a chair, let's get into it.
Hey everyone, welcome to the inaugural episode of Prompt and Circumstance. Isn't that a great title? Yeah, that's a good one. I'm Tom Adams, and I'm your host today, and only today for this inaugural episode, as we pull up our chairs around this virtual conversation roundtable that we hope will become your go-to listening thing that you do on a regular basis, just to hear about code, culture, CEO reality checks around all things AI. To get us started, let's just make sure you know everybody on our panel. This is our first episode, and we just want to make sure everybody knows who the people are in the voices. So I'm going to start with Mike. Do you want to take it away and give us a sense of who you are?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Hey, it's great to be here, everybody. Looking forward very much to this podcast. Mike Richardson, yeah, I've spent the last 23 years coaching and facilitating CEOs, and so I just feel a grave responsibility to help CEOs figure out this AI thing. That's why I'm here, Tom.
Good. That's great. Mark.
Yeah, morning, Tom. Thanks. Like Mike, just to echo him, like delighted to be here. Awesome. So look, I'm an ad guy, I guess. I'm a marketing guy. Spent my early career in agencies, then moved client side and was in C-level positions for a number of billion-dollar companies, which was incredible experience for me. Right now, I do a lot of leadership coaching. I work with CEOs. I'm working with some young companies who are facing unbelievable disruption unbelievably quickly. So super exciting topic, great to be with you guys this morning.
Yeah, that's great. And Ryan.
Thanks. Very excited about our Prompt and Circumstance AI podcast. My background is 30 years in technology, in the last 10 years being CEO of private equity-backed B2B enterprise software companies in that mid-market space. And super excited to help coach, lead, and educate others on what I'm seeing in the market.
That's great. From my perspective, I'm an executive coach. I've worked with small to mid-size, privately owned companies, primarily in the B2B service space, but I do a lot more than that. I've been doing that for 23 years, and I am just headlong into AI-related stuff, so that's part of the conversation. But now that we've got a sense of who each other is, Mike, you are the guy who kind of put us all together. So I want to jump to you and give us a sense of why how we all met, how you put us together, and why we're together.
Well, like when you go through life, you sort of accumulate hangers-on, don't you? And so I think, Tom, that you and I first met, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. Yeah. Tom's been a media guy all his life, and actually ended up doing one of my websites at one point. And then we ran into each other again 2 or 3 years ago because we're part of a similar global community. And I discovered that Tom is blazing the trail with a very practical approach to AI. And then Ryan and I met, I guess, Ryan, when was that? Back in 2017, I think it was. I was doing a keynote in Denver. And I asked the audience, who thinks that their business is going to be disrupted, beyond recognition within the next, X years. And Ryan was one of the very few that put his hand up. And he's like looking left and looking right. And I could see this puzzled look on his face of what is up with the rest of you? Are you asleep at the
he's the only honest one. He was the only honest one.
And then Mark and I met probably 2 or 3 years ago. Mark's a fellow Brit, as you could tell from our respective accents. And he just got back from New Zealand. He'd previously been in Southern California, just got back from New Zealand, where, as you heard, he did 3 global corporate massive transformations to enterprise agility and everything. And so, I've been blazing a trail around agility for 23 years. Before that, I was a serial CEO. And Tom, I just know when the dots start to join up and something special starts to happen. And so I'm really excited that we've come here today to begin this podcast. We thought about writing a book, didn't we? And we thought, well, hang on a minute. By the time the ink is dry on that thing, it'll be about 3 years out of date. So why don't we just try to keep up with this roller coaster ride, week by week, month by month kind of thing.
You know what, Mike? It's so funny because I was just thinking about what we're going to talk about today, and I had it all figured out on Monday, right? Like, and then yesterday, I it all changed. Like literally, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. So
ChatGPT-5 and all kinds of stuff.
Well,
exactly.
That's what we're dealing with, right? It's like, and I'm you know why I'm here? Like, I'm here because I need someone to talk to.
Yes.
like really. Like, I need somebody to talk to because this shit's is driving me mad.
Yes. So
that's a common thread is when we started talking to each other, we realized we were seeing the same things and felt some level of comfort that we weren't alone in seeing, and the dots aligning, and as Mike says, something special happening.
And I think we decided to do a podcast because it allows us to talk to each other. And I think, frankly, other people would be interested in the kind of conversation we're having because we're coming at it from four, I think, uniquely different perspectives. And a podcast allows us to be fresh, relevant. We can record and it be online fairly quickly. I think the other advantage to it is what Mark said. We just get to have a conversation about what we're experiencing and exploring. It's not because it's staying static. It's changing so incredibly rapidly.
Yeah. Everybody that's listening, I'm going to fess up right now, everybody. I am willing to be the slow guy in the room. So you might struggle to keep up with these other three guys here because they truly are blazing a trail. But I'll be coming along behind gradually. So if you just keep up with me, then you'll be fine. Trust me.
We could do closed caption subtitles for you, Mike.
We have a walker for you too. Don't worry. Maybe let's just kind of come at it from the perspective of what's our individual sense of what's happening, not just why we're doing this podcast, but our sense of what's going on in the world in AI and why we're particularly interested in this conversation. Ryan, maybe let's start with you on that one.
The first thing that comes to mind is everything all at once. It just seems like the rapid innovation, the rapid change that's underway. I don't think it's hyperbole to say it's another industrial revolution. I also think it's fascinating how there's such a spectrum from AI first, AI native, really rapid company innovation and personal productivity gains, all the way to a lack of awareness. Or, somebody may have tried something a couple of years ago, but really hasn't revisited using a large language model or generative AI, or really hasn't adopted it in their business, or even just mandates that there will be no use of AI in a company. I think that spectrum is just amazing, and it's happening all at once.
Yeah, I love that. And I get to coach a lot and facilitate a lot of CEOs, a lot of forums, a lot of boards. And even before all of that, the natural state of play for CEOs, maybe plenty of exceptions to that rule in our listeners here, but the natural state of play is already sort of, overwhelmed. I'm already overwhelmed with, all of the strategy and execution and leadership and communication and business development and process engineering that I've got to do in my business. And now this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed times 10 if I'm not careful.
You know what, Mike? I was having a chat with somebody a couple of weeks ago, and we see CEOs fitting. This is a little bit like ridiculous, but we see CEOs fitting into two camps, right? The ones that are like, can you just keep this away long enough so I can retire? Right? There's those guys, and then there's another camp which is like, I have no idea what to do. That's it. Yeah, you've got and it's like and I'm not joking. Like, those are the conversations we see happening. Because and the ones I don't see anyone sat in the this is not going to affect me middle. Right. I don't see anyone. So
and then there'll be the camp of people that listen to our podcast. Perfect.
But there's an absolute group of people that are like, can just keep this away. Like, I've got 18 months. I've got 18 months till I leave the seat. Keep it away.
Yeah.
It's like it's pretty scary, right? Like,
yeah, and the challenge that I see in my conversations is what you said. Plus, there's this other factor that I also see, which is keep it away from me. I don't want to deal with it. It's too much. But the other one is I don't even have a path to take with it. Like it's a lot of times we're getting there because I don't know what step to make at this point. Like it feels like the ground is so uneven and unsteady that I'd rather just stand here, kind of like, the flight or fright or freeze mode. A lot of people are in freeze mode right now, just stuck, not knowing what to do.
Yeah,
that's a good point. The CEOs that I talk to, I frequently ask them to really lean in and start to make it part of their day-to-day operations. I love a story where I had a conversation with a CEO and I said, take out your phone, open up ChatGPT and walk around your warehouse. Start to take some pictures of products that you have. And he reflected back that he had 4 or 5 people behind him and they were getting insights and really kind of some level of omnipotence about the products and such, and storage and material safety data sheets and different things. Just an example of how you could really just change the way that you work, that mindset shift of how you can leverage AI in your day-to-day operations is really enlightening, and really kind of opens up that aperture as to it not just being a product or something over there or something that's being discussed at a board level, but rather how you infuse it into your day-to-day operations.
Yeah, so I run these monthly forums, as you all know. And after you came and spoke, Tom, if you remember, you came and spoke to all of my forums, or rather, you came in by Zoom, over the last, 2, 3, 4 months ago.
Yep.
I instituted a second sign-in sheet. There's always been a first sign-in sheet where on the way into the room, the CEOs will sort of rate themselves out of 10, business, professional, personal life kind of stuff. And, what issue, challenge, problem is front of mind for them as they come into the room. I've always done that. But I put up a second sign-in sheet, which is all about AI. And they now have to rate themselves out of 10. How are they doing in applying AI to themselves, to their team, and to their business? And of course, we see scores all over the board. I mean, there truly are people that come in and put zeros because they're just like, frozen, as you said. And there are some who come in and they're putting 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s. And one of the members, it was his turn last month, a couple of weeks ago, to do his sort of host presentation and process an issue, a case. And I encourage people to get into the habit of doing moving average graphs to help explain the story of their business. So he was explaining to everybody that with the new agent mode in ChatGPT, he just dumped the raw data in there and boom, moving average graphs just like that. And everybody just sat there with their eyes wide open.
Yeah.
So so I was here in Southern California, right? We in Orange County. There's a group called EMP, and they do events like a couple of years. There was one on Wednesday, and I went to it, and I got to hear a couple of really interesting people talk. One of them was a guy called Keith Strier, and he's the SVP of global AI AMD chips, right? He's ex-NVIDIA, right? And he said something that I thought was so interesting, right? He's like, so like when we have new technologies, like that, the hype cycle, it's like, oh, it's overhyped. He said, guys, like, let me make one thing clear. This is underhyped.
Right.
Okay, so it was like, and that actually stopped me in my tracks, and I'm like, okay. He said, normally when we talk about technologies in this stage, we're talking about overhyping. This is underhyped. He's like, this is not just another technology. And to be honest, I've got a little bit of that narrative in my mind. Like, it's just tech, right? It's like, he's like, this is like, make no mistake. And he said, what we've got to get our arms around is, the story of the single person $1 billion company. He said, that's real. And he said, but what you've got to understand is with AI, you are no longer limited by team size, by team location. You are unlimited.
Yeah.
So, and he mentioned a couple of companies where what was one of them? I've wrote it down somewhere, but he's like, look, this is a 6-person company like that is valued at $5 billion.
And they're probably all teenagers.
There's 6 of them. He said, because because if like when you deploy this technology correctly, you are unbound. Yeah, you have an unlimited team of experts to help you, and another lady there, a lady called Claire Gibbon, Claire Gibbon, at AWS. She said, "I'm not a brilliant person, but with AI, I can do brilliant things." And I was like, "That's a good quote, man."
That
Like
is.
that's a good quote. So anyway, I just like that really struck me this week as like we're talking about this thing, right? And it's like if you buy into the it's underhyped narrative, then it's like this wake up, guys, ring the bell, right? Like ring the bell. I thought it was really quite powerful, actually.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And I think actually some timely things this week. For instance, I think it was the CEO of Palantir, Alex Karp, had said, we see that we can 10x our revenue and with 10% fewer employees. They're currently, I think, at 4,100 employees. He said, I think we can trail down to about 3,600 employees and 10x our revenue. And I think the level of innovation, just leaning in on the hype cycle, it's possible that there's just so much innovation that we never get. I have never felt like I hit a trough of disillusionment, for instance, in the last few years.
No.
Right. It just seems like the next level of productivity or next level of innovation just keeps building, that maybe we'll never see a trough of disillusionment. I'm sure we'll see a plateau at some point, but that's I say so far in the future, but in the next 3 to 5 years, the level of innovation and productivity and insights and anecdotes about, elevating your own personal level of capability is just super exciting.
Yeah, and everybody listening, the hype cycle, I think, was made popular by Gartner. Is that correct, guys?
Yeah,
the hype
I think
cycle?
it is.
Yeah, and I think one of my other favorite models is called the Dunning-Kruger model, and I think they sort of go hand in hand. And it's this idea that, as you've all said, right, you get this explosion of the sort of up curve, the bubble kind of effect, all the hype. And then it sort of crashes into the valley of disillusionment when sort of reality sets in, and then gradually it sort of claws its way back and starts to be real. Just like if you think back to the internet, 25, 30, 35 years ago. But I think what Mark and Ryan are saying, everybody, is, sometimes things come along that just explode the previous paradigm. And you begin to realize that doesn't work anymore. That codification of how things go doesn't apply to this, because this is breaking all of those rules.
Yeah. And for me, that has meant, as I'm having those conversations, I had to take it out of the theoretical for myself, because we can talk that talk, we see the hype cycle, but I had to make sense of that for myself. And one of the things I've tried to do is go, if I'm going to be in this conversation in a reasonable way, I've got to explore what this looks like. I got to try things. I got to do stuff. And I heard recently that one of the biggest indicators of whether generally a larger company, even mid-market, comes on board is the CEO actually playing with ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot. If they're not playing with it, it's not going to happen. But if they are, it is. And for me, it was, I got to dig in. I got to try stuff. Like literally on my office computer, I have 4 different LLM agents running. I'm testing stuff all the time. I've been vibe coding on 5 platforms. Like I'm just throwing shit at the wall literally all the time. But what it's helped me to do is really understand that this is not a hype cycle.
Yeah.
We're in something profound.
But that's it though, Tom, right? It's like, and I think that that's a great example, because like all leaders have to have that moment.
Yeah.
They have to, where they go, hold on, this is different.
Yeah.
This isn't like, oh, try this new CRM. It's better than the last CRM. Right. It's like, whatever, right? But like when you start to touch this, and I know just chatting between the 4 of us, like the impact it's had on my work in the last 6 months is just unbelievable, right? You can't experience that without going, something crazy is about to happen, right? You just can't look at it and not have that reaction. I think everyone's got to go through that moment where you wake up and you go, holy crap, everything just changed.
Yeah, I've talked to a number of leaders, and when that tipping moment happens, that there's this consensus of, I just haven't been this excited about technology for a while. And I've lived through PC, internet, mobile, cloud, but man, the last couple years, and especially the last 6 months, has just been something special, and just really just kindled this excitement for what's next.
Yeah, and all of us to some degree have been blazing the trail with agility, and the concept of that enterprise agility, business agility, organizational agility, team agility, leadership agility for decades now. And that tipping point idea is so crucial, I think, where you sort of cross over to the other side, where rather than fearing chaos, you embrace chaos. Rather than chaos being the enemy, chaos becomes your friend if you know how to engage with it and get into the concept of organized chaos. The trouble with AI, everybody, is this is just going to 10x chaos if you fall behind the curve, and 10x opportunity if you're sort of hanging on, keeping up with the curve or even getting ahead of the curve. It's just it's going to be another grand sorting out of those who can and those who can't. And so, Tom, what are we going to try to do here, from week to week or month to month?
I've resigned.
Well, we gotta bring some solutions.
I appreciate everyone's time this morning, but I'm out.
What's that famous commercial, right? Oh no, we don't do anything. We only
I think what we want to do is just based on our own perspectives. Let's just talk a little bit about what are we seeing? What did we see this week? What's fresh? What's new? Is there a lesson, an insight, experience, a tool, something that happened this week that brought you in, or that caused you to think differently, or caused you to be aware of how profound this is? Ryan, do you want to take that one first?
Well, I'll probably take a little bit different slant on this. What I was excited to see was additional investment from the majors into education. So I believe 4 weeks ago or so, Microsoft had committed billions of dollars to education and the like. I think Google just did a 3-year $1 billion investment into higher education. I think that's absolutely imperative. And as this workforce is being educated, I personally have seen entrance into the workforce and a heightened expectation of AI availability, and often met with a lack of interest and not understanding. I think that is coupled with what we're seeing is a more normalization of CEOs finding that level of productivity, going through efficiencies in their workforce, doing some layoffs and the like, becoming much more normal. And I think it's an interesting dichotomy of some organizations realizing that productivity, going through some layoffs, a new workforce entering their first jobs and having that expectation of AI efficiency. So I'm really excited to see additional investment into education, especially in higher ed and across K through 12, to really help educators understand how to best groom the next workforce in this AI enabled environment we're in.
Very cool. Yeah, that's great. Mike, what's blooming for you right now?
So, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I started to play with the new agent mode in ChatGPT 4, and that was what that CEO member used to do those moving average graphs so quickly and so easily. So he tuned me into that, and I started to use it to just do some basic things. My wife and I are planning a vacation in October, and so I asked ChatGPT to sort of get out there and figure out where the best deals are for cruises and resorts and all of that kind of stuff. And then you just sort of watch it do its work. And, a few minutes later, 5 or 10 minutes later, it's done and serves up the summary. And then, of course, heard about ChatGPT 5. At least I saw the video yesterday that rather stiff robotic announcement video of OpenAI CEO and the team announcing ChatGPT 5. But they got the message across, which is good. So lo and behold, when I opened it up this morning, my ChatGPT, there it is, ChatGPT 5. And so I asked ChatGPT 5, hey, give me a summary of ChatGPT 5. Give me a summary of how CEOs should be thinking about what's new and different in ChatGPT 5, and what else, what they can start to do with it, even more than they could do with ChatGPT 4. So that's what I've been playing with in the last few hours, literally.
That's great. Mark, what's going on with you? What's driving your attention this week? What insights, experiences, what else?
Oh, we lost your audio, Mark.
We lost you.
I've got some guys doing leaf blowing outside the window, so I went on mute for a second.
Of course.
I think I mentioned it earlier. The event I went to, I just thought it triggered some really important thoughts for me. I'm still I'm flip flopping though between end of the world and the most exciting thing I've ever seen. Right. And I'm not kidding. I have moments when I'm like, we're actually doomed. I'm not kidding. I'm like, I can force it, and it'll happen quicker than we could even imagine. Right. So you can talk to me about a 10-year horizon, but nothing beyond that, because in 10 years, this will be unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And that's really terrifying. Right. I've got, as a dad of two kids who have now left school and are trying to get into the workforce, I'm terrified for that. I'm terrified that Elon Musk thinks there'll be 1 billion humanoid robots, in 10 years, but really probably in 5. He said I don't know if you saw that interview, but he's like, in 5 years, there will be humanoid robots everywhere you go, right? Every public space, every service. And he said, because of that, services will go to zero, right? Because it'll be so cheap to do everything. So I do have days when I wake up and I go oh my God, this is I don't even know if I want to live in that thing.
And is that why you're growing a beard, Mark? Is that what that's
about?
I'm
I'm trying to buy a cave somewhere in Utah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
I would say, Mark, actually, that's an interesting point. I have heard that from others, especially those that have children that are entering, or young individuals that are entering the workforce. This sincere, compelling feeling of, I need to make sure they understand this.
I'm super worried, Ryan. I've got to tell you, and I'm super. I've got a family member who is doing computer science at UCLA. Not a great decision, right? Seriously, let's get real here. We've got people who are about to invest. We've got a new education cycle rolling now. We've got people who are about to undertake $300,000-$400,000 of investment for degrees in things that are going to be worthless, right? And 15 years ago, we said, become a developer, you'll be set for life.
Yeah, exactly.
It's guys, wake up, and then people always say to me, oh yeah, but they're learning how to learn. I'm like, excuse me, keep your 400 grand, right, and learn this shit.
Yeah.
Go to a trade school and you might be okay.
Seriously. So I'm definitely having a minor midlife crisis.
We can see that, Mark. It's written all over your face, Mark.
And then I think about possibility, and I'm super excited. But I'm having one of those moments. I might have to have a lie down in a minute. So if I go off screen, you'll know why.
So, I'm sure we all do this, right? We talk about VUCA, right? Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And the thing, everybody, is we've always had VUCA. I mean, when we rolled out the railroad infrastructure around the USA, that was VUCA. And then we rolled out the automotive infrastructure, and that was VUCA. And then we rolled out the aviation infrastructure, and that was VUCA, on everything that came before. And there's been VUCA and VUCA and VUCA, COVID, of course, and all of that. So this is obviously another form of VUCA on steroids times 10.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of a sort of there is a little thing we can hold on to, and try to stay composed in the face of VUCA, and that we've always had to do that. We've always had the next phase of VUCA, and we've always had to find ways to sort of, in the face of that craziness and that terror that's coming at us, stay composed and look for the silver lining, look for the opportunity inside of that threat. It just is going to, as you're saying, Mark, it's just going to be so much harder, times 10, times 100 possibly, to find that ability to stay composed in the face of what's going to be coming at us. And that's what we're here to try to do, everybody.
I don't have that. I don't have that, Mike.
try to give you a little safe harbor, a little port in the storm. So, try to rebalance your composure.
Well, for me, the way I deal with that is I go into it, right? I go into the storm. And so, like this week, the thing that I've been learning this week, and this is pretty good, I got to tell you, because it connects to our title.
Like the drum roll there. Very nice.
Circumstances are the direct result of prompt effectiveness.
Oh, yes.
Right? And so what I've been learning this week, because there's conversational chat with your Chat GPT or your Gemini, but I'm trying to learn vibe coding more, and I don't know how to code, but I've been playing on things like Cursor. There's Replit, which is one, but Cursor is like a software that sits on your computer. Like you write code in it, but now you can add a AI agent. And what I'm realizing is they're like bad employees. They really are, because they can go down a path and then they just go round and round in circles and loop to loop, and they go, I don't care, I don't want to help you, and they do the thing that you didn't want them to do, and they keep doing it. And what I've been spending time on, trying to figure out how to stay, brain calm in this world, is I dig into it and I go, if I get better at prompting, and it's not just a little bit, it's actually called prompt engineering. And I get better at those kind of little things, I'm more comfortable with the crazy. For some strange reason, I can deal with the crazy when I'm in it, as opposed to standing outside of it, looking at it and going, right? When I'm inside of it, I go, okay, this is crazy, but it's no better than even, a crazy employee. It just goes. And I realized, like a management, like a leader, you got to give it, what's the context? What's the goal? What's the outcome? Is there examples of this? Are there steps that you think I should take? And when you do some basic prompt engineering, you're in the middle of the crazy, and at the same time, you start to see that it responds to that, and I respond to that, which is kind of cool. Yeah. My circumstance gets better.
Yeah, and
there's a couple good tips there. You and I have talked about this, like with just in the last few weeks, Replit released the MD feature, which is like custom instructions, and so you can put things in there to help provide some guardrails and such to make the agent perform better. Just a quick tip on prompt engineering, and I always tell people this because it's just super easy. One, take the prompt I give you and make it better, and then 2, ask me 3 questions or 5 questions before you proceed. Those 2 things can really make a prompt that much better and help you get to an outcome that's much more tailored to what you're looking for.
So if I tracked with you there, you'd say maybe you go into ChatGPT or whatever, you put in your first prompt, you see what comes back. Then you say again, okay, please improve the prompt I gave you.
Yeah.
And then you're saying a third round would be ask me 3 questions to help improve the prompt.
You're spot on, Mike. You can put that right into your prompt. Yeah. And if you want to go to the advanced course, if you will, go to your settings, look for traits you want GPT to display, and put it in there. And every time you prompt, it will do that. Say, take my prompt, make it better, then ask me 3 questions. And you don't need to know code. You just put that right in there. Natural language.
Yeah. And Tom, what you were saying brought back that old adage that we've used many, many, many times, which is you don't feel yourself into acting better. You act yourself into feeling better.
Right.
So I think everybody that's listening, we're going to try every week, every month that we're here, we're going to try to encourage you, inspire you to dive in and get messy.
Yes.
The only way to learn is to learn by doing, everybody. Not, you can do some reading, you can do some thinking, you can do some studying, but if you're not careful, that becomes analysis paralysis. You just got to dive in head first and start doing some things and learning by doing, and you'll start to feel not massively better, but at least a little bit better. I think Mark's beyond help, but we'll do our best to rehab him over time.
Good luck. I know all the quotes are attributed to Mark Twain, all of them. This was attributed to Mark Twain, and it made me think of it when you're talking. And it's like, it goes something like, I really don't like that fellow, right? I must get to know him better. And I'm like, if AI is the fellow, right, it's like, there you go. And this is like a life skill, right? It's like whenever you meet somebody and you go, oh, I'm really not sure about that Ryan guy. It's like just, you got to understand Ryan, man. And it's like, and that's the genesis of what you're saying, isn't it? It's like, you got to get into this, guys. Like, because otherwise it'll be this scary monster that's going to come and eat our families, And it's like, so as everything around us changes, everything stays the same, right? The same rules apply. Like, we are facing a massive moment of disruption. You got two choices. Like, if you're going to leave now and go far away, right?
Buy that island in the Pacific.
If you're going to stay, like get to know him better.
Nice.
Nice. That's good. So as we wrap this one, I'm going to take that concept and just sort of ask you, the concept for me that I try and teach the people I work with, or when I'm training people on this one, is be comfortable with play. Instead of putting this big set of expectation that you got to figure it out, play with it. Like you only get good at this when you play, and you don't even get good at it because it changes by the time you played. But at least when you're playing with it, as opposed to this big expectation, you got to figure it out. It tends to come easier. So my question to you is, as we close up this first inaugural episode, is what are you going to play with this week as it relates to AI? What are you going to focus on, or what action are you going to take to help you move you forward?
I'll jump in first. I have a new Microsoft Surface Copilot ready, latest whiz bang high spec, device that's just shown up. It was time for me to upgrade, so I'm going to get all that set up over the weekend. And I've only skimmed the surface of what Copilot can do. I have ChatGPT paid version, of course. But I'm really excited about what Copilot can do inside of the, Microsoft ecosystem of PowerPoint and Word and Excel and Outlook and Teams and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm really going to dive in head first. And then the other thing is I know I think you have Claude, Mark, don't you? The little sort of transcription device. I actually signed up to get Limitless, and I've just been waiting for the Android version, and so I cancelled out of that, and I'm going to get myself a Claude and start experimenting with that. How's that been for you, Mark?
It's good. I use it specifically to record like leadership sessions. It's really good, but again, Mike, I've just skimmed it, right?
Yeah.
And this is part of the challenge for us all. It's like, goodness me, we are touching every time these tools come out, like we're doing the classic, 2% of available features, right? It's
Keep going, Mark. What are you going to do this week?
You know what? I've got a really interesting week coming up, actually, because I'm going to Vancouver on Tuesday to spend the week with a client in Vancouver, and we're going to spend a lot of time reimagining their business. So I've got quite a creative week coming, which is going to be really fun. I just picking up on something Ryan said earlier, because I hadn't thought of it that way. Like, this is really interesting because this hype cycle has no disillusionment, right? Because every time I try something or do something, it blows my mind. So I'm like, so I would encourage for anyone listening who's like, every great journey, one small step. It's like, just try it, because I guarantee you the first thing, and the first query you ask ChatGPT, okay, make it very specific and very relevant to your business. And if it doesn't blow your mind, I'll send you a coupon for Target, right? So honestly, it's like, it's because that's how I started. And I remember my first query, and I'm like, holy crap! Like, how does it do that? So just start, just try something, because it's like it will not disappoint you. If it does, write to Sam Altman at, I don't know, somewhere in Silicon Valley, and he'll answer you.
Mark, I'll
Ryan, what are
build
you
on
going to
that.
do?
Yeah, actually, and do it with something that you're familiar with.
Right.
I think a lot of people are like, well, I don't need to ask ChatGPT this, but you'll be surprised. One, you can start to validate: is it accurate? Is it hallucinating? What am I seeing? But you'd be surprised on the different vantage points, or if you keep asking it, well, expand on this. What do you think? Or challenge my thinking on this. You'd be surprised what you get back that really just starts to open up your mind to different perspectives on a topic that you may know very well.
Yeah. So what are you going to work on? What are you going to work on this week, Ryan? What's on your plate this coming week?
Well, like you, I've dove in on vibe coding, and you were kind enough to give me some time and really show me some great agent work that you've been developing. So that's my objective. And I think even the day that we were talking, I was like, well, should I subscribe to the ChatGPT? I forget the next level, $200 a month, and really get in on agents. And I think that day was when they had released the agents for the pro version. So I'm excited to dive in on that and just see how I can start to add agentic tooling to my own productivity and really think through product roadmaps for SaaS companies and the like. So that'll be my to-do this week.
Yeah, awesome. What about you, Tom?
I've never used, there's this thing on your computer. It's called Terminal. If you're on Mac, it's Terminal. Right. And if you're on Windows, it's, what's it called? It's I don't know.
You're asking the wrong guy, Tom. I have no idea.
Yeah, whatever this is, but I didn't really understand it until Claude Code, which is now pretty much universally recognized as one of the better coding tools. So you don't even see it now. You just go into Terminal and you say Claude, and Claude pops up, and you just talk to Claude, and Claude makes stuff. It fixes stuff. You say, go look in this folder and tell me everything that's in there. And it comes back and says, this is what's in the folder. What do you want me to do with it? And I'm playing with Terminal, and I've never done that before, but I'm using this really cool tool called Warp, which is like AI Terminal. And then I'm testing also Claude Code in Cursor. And again, the very fact that I'm saying this, Mark, you'll get this. I don't even know I don't even know who I am. Like, I would have never said this.
Yeah, where's Tom? What have you done with Tom?
3 weeks ago. I'm going, what is going on here? I'm touching stuff that code people touch, but I'm touching it. So that's what I'm working on this week.
Yeah.
So hey, listeners, if you're there with us, never fear. I'll bring up the rear. We'll make sure that we translate this back into English for you. I nearly had to interrupt Ryan. Sorry, Replit what and MD what. And by the way, we'll try to put it in English, everybody, not that American form of the thing. Anyway, Tom, take us out.
Well, gentlemen, it's been great. Thank you for sharing where you are, and we'll catch up soon.
That's a wrap for this episode of Prompt and Circumstance. Thanks for hanging out with these four at the roundtable today. If you liked what you heard, hit subscribe wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. And if you've got a thought, question, or AI hot take, send it our way. Find the bios for Mike, Ryan, Mark, and Tom, as well as show notes and more at the podcast website, promptandcircumstancepodcast.com. Until next time, keep playing, keep curious, and we'll see you in the next episode.